I never imagined that the worst betrayal of my life would begin with something so ordinary. It wasn't a phone call. It wasn't a dramatic argument. It wasn't even a confession. It was a smile. The kind of smile that should have made me feel safe. Instead, it became the moment I would replay in my mind 1,000 times, wondering how I had missed what was hiding behind it. If someone had told me that morning that my entire life would be turned upside down before sunset, I would have laughed. I believed I knew the people closest to me. I believed trust was something that couldn't disappear overnight. I was wrong. The strange part is that betrayal rarely announces itself. It doesn't knock on your door and introduce itself. It slips quietly into your life, pretending everything is normal while it slowly tears apart everything you've built. Looking back now, I can see the warning signs. But at the time, I saw nothing. I had spent years building a life I was proud of. Every long workday, every sacrifice, every promise I kept, it all had one purpose. I wanted the people I loved to have a better future than I ever had. I thought they appreciated it. I thought we were a team. That's what made what happened next so impossible to believe. It started with one small decision. A decision that seemed completely unimportant. If I had gone home just 10 minutes later, I might never have discovered the truth. If I had ignored that strange feeling in my stomach, I would probably still be living inside a carefully crafted lie. Sometimes life changes because of one conversation. Sometimes it changes because of one text message. Mine changed because I opened the wrong door at exactly the right time. The moment I stepped inside, something felt different. No one said a word. No one had to. The silence was louder than any argument I'd ever heard. For a few seconds, everything froze. Faces changed. Smiles disappeared. Excuses formed before questions were even asked. I didn't understand what I was looking at. Not yet. But deep inside, something told me that the person I had been only a few moments earlier was gone forever. I wanted someone to tell me I was imagining things. I wanted someone to laugh and explain the misunderstanding. Instead, everyone looked at each other. No one looked at me. That was the moment fear quietly turned into certainty. My heart wasn't racing because I knew the truth. It was racing because I knew the truth was about to find me. I asked a simple question. No one answered. I asked again. Still nothing. The silence became its own confession. I could feel every memory I'd ever trusted beginning to crack. Every celebration. Every promise. Every late-night conversation. Every "I would never hurt you." They all suddenly felt different. I wish I could tell you I stayed calm. I wish I could tell you I immediately understood what was happening. But the human mind doesn't work that way. When the people you trust most become strangers in a single moment, your heart refuses to accept what your eyes are beginning to see. I kept searching their faces for hope. For honesty. For anything that would prove I was wrong. Instead, I found guilt. Not loud guilt. Quiet guilt. The kind that can't hide forever. That's when I realized something even more terrifying. This hadn't just happened. It had been happening for a long time. While I was making sacrifices. While I was defending them. While I was believing every excuse. Someone had been carefully protecting a secret. And I was the last person who was supposed to find out. I could have walked away. I could have pretended I never saw what I saw. Maybe life would have stayed comfortable for a little longer. But comfort built on lies never lasts. I made a decision in that moment. I wouldn't scream. I wouldn't beg. I wouldn't make a scene. If there was a truth hiding behind those frightened faces, I was going to uncover every piece of it. Even if it destroyed everything I thought I knew. I had no idea that this was only the beginning. Because the betrayal I had just stumbled into was nothing compared to the secret waiting for me next. If you had met me back then, you probably would have said I had everything figured out. My life wasn't perfect, but it was peaceful. I had a steady career, a comfortable home, and people around me who made every ordinary day feel meaningful. I wasn't chasing fame or fortune. My dream was much simpler than that. I wanted a life built on honesty, loyalty, and the kind of love that could survive life's hardest moments. Every morning followed the same comforting routine. I would wake up early, make a cup of coffee, and spend a few quiet minutes planning the day ahead. Those peaceful mornings gave me a sense of purpose. No matter how busy work became, I always believed that coming home to the people I loved was the greatest reward. Family had always been the center of my world. Growing up, I learned that trust wasn't something you demanded. It was something you earned every single day. My parents weren't wealthy, but they taught me lessons that money could never buy. They believed that keeping your word mattered more than making promises, and that treating people with kindness was never a sign of weakness. Those values shaped the person I became. When I met the person I believed would share my future, everything seemed to fall into place naturally. We laughed about the smallest things, supported each other's goals, and talked endlessly about the life we wanted to build together. We weren't perfect, but we believed that every challenge could be solved as long as we faced it side by side. Our friends often told us how lucky we were. They admired the way we looked at each other, the way we celebrated even the smallest achievements, and the way we always seemed to be on the same team. Looking back now, I understand that people only see the moments we choose to share. They rarely see the quiet struggles hiding behind closed doors. At the time, though, I truly believed we were different. Weekends became our favorite escape from the busy work week. Sometimes we explored small towns nearby, looking for cozy restaurants or local markets. Other weekends we stayed home, cooked dinner together, watched old movies, and laughed until late at night. Those simple moments became some of my happiest memories. We often talked about the future. Maybe buying a larger home one day. Maybe starting a family. Maybe traveling to places we had only seen in photographs. Those conversations didn't feel like impossible dreams. They felt like plans that were slowly becoming reality. I worked hard because I believed every long day brought us one step closer to that future. There were evenings when I came home exhausted, but seeing a familiar smile waiting for me made every sacrifice seem worthwhile. I never questioned whether my efforts were appreciated. I believed we were building something together. Trust became the foundation of everything. I never checked phones. I never questioned late meetings. I never imagined that honesty needed to be tested. To me, love without trust wasn't really love at all. The people closest to us admired what they believed was a strong relationship. Family gatherings were filled with laughter, holiday celebrations created memories we thought would last forever, and every birthday felt like another reminder of how fortunate we were. If someone had asked me then what success looked like, I wouldn't have talked about promotions or expensive possessions. I would have pointed to the life we were living. A peaceful home. Shared dreams. People who cared about one another. That was enough for me. Of course, life wasn't completely free from challenges. Work deadlines became stressful, unexpected bills appeared from time to time, and there were moments when we disagreed about small things. But every relationship has difficult days. I believed those moments only made us stronger because we always found our way back to each other. Or at least, that's what I thought. There were tiny moments that didn't seem important at the time. A conversation that ended too quickly when I entered the room. A smile that disappeared just a little too fast. A promise to be home early that quietly turned into another late night. They were so small that I ignored them. After all, everyone has busy days. Everyone gets distracted. Everyone deserves the benefit of the doubt. Looking back now, I realize how easy it is to mistake comfort for certainty. When life feels stable, you stop looking for cracks in the foundation. You believe the people you trust are protecting your future just as carefully as you are. I had no reason to think otherwise. At least, not yet. Because while I was making plans for the years ahead, someone else had already started making decisions that would change everything. And the first real sign that my perfect life wasn't as perfect as it seemed was about to appear when I least expected it. For the first few years, I never questioned anything. Trust had become such a natural part of our relationship that doubt simply didn't exist. If plans changed, I understood. If work became stressful, I offered support. If promises were delayed, I believed there was a good reason. That's what people do when they love someone. They choose trust before suspicion. Looking back now, I realize that betrayal rarely begins with one unforgettable moment. It begins with tiny changes so small that they almost seem meaningless. One by one, they quietly settle into your life until, eventually, they create a picture you can no longer ignore. The first change was time. The person who once couldn't wait to come home suddenly had reasons to stay away a little longer. At first, it was an unexpected meeting. Then it became a last-minute project. Soon there was always another excuse waiting before I even asked the question. I never complained. Everyone has busy seasons. At least, that's what I kept telling myself. Then came the conversations. We used to spend hours talking about everything, our dreams, our work, even the funniest little moments from the day. Those conversations slowly became shorter. Questions were answered with one or two words. Smiles disappeared before they reached the eyes. It wasn't cold. It was distant. There is a difference. Distance doesn't always arrive with anger. Sometimes it arrives wrapped in silence. I noticed it during dinner one evening. Instead of laughing together, we sat across from each other in complete silence. The television filled the room with noise, but neither of us was really watching it. Every few minutes, a phone would light up on the table. A quick glance. A quiet smile. Then the screen would turn over before I could see anything. It happened so naturally that I almost convinced myself I had imagined it. Almost. Days turned into weeks. The little promises that had once meant everything slowly started breaking. I'll be home by 6. 6 became 7. 7 became 9. Sometimes midnight. The explanations always sounded reasonable. Traffic. Extra work. Helping a friend. Another unexpected emergency. None of them sounded impossible. But together, they began creating questions I couldn't answer. One Saturday morning, we had planned to spend the day together. It had been on the calendar for weeks. I woke up excited, already thinking about breakfast and the quiet drive we had planned. Just as I finished making coffee, another message arrived. I'm so sorry. Something came up. That was it. No details. No explanation. Just another cancelled promise. For the first time, disappointment felt heavier than understanding. Later that afternoon, I caught myself staring at old photographs on my phone. Pictures from vacations. Birthdays. Ordinary evenings that had somehow become unforgettable memories. The smiles looked real. The happiness looked real. I couldn't stop wondering when things had started changing. Or if they had been changing much longer than I realized. Friends noticed the difference before I admitted it to myself. You seem quieter lately. Is everything okay? I'd smile and say we were both just busy. It was easier than explaining feelings I didn't fully understand. Deep inside, however, something had begun to shift. Not certainty. Just instinct. That quiet voice you try so hard to ignore because listening to it might change everything. Then something else happened. One evening, while we were sitting together, a phone buzzed with another message. The screen lit up for only a second. The phone disappeared almost immediately. It was such a quick movement that most people would never have noticed. But I did. The reaction wasn't normal. It wasn't the message itself that caught my attention. It was the urgency to hide it. That single moment stayed with me for days. I hated myself for thinking about it. I wasn't the jealous type. I had never searched through personal belongings. I had never believed love should feel like an investigation. So I pushed the thought away. Again. And again. But the strange moments kept coming. Phone calls suddenly ended when I entered the room. Weekend plans changed without warning. Simple questions received complicated answers. Eye contact became shorter. Laughter became forced. And somehow, despite living in the same house, it felt as though an invisible wall had appeared between us. Every night I told myself the same thing. You're overthinking. You're tired. You're imagining problems that don't exist. But every morning, another small piece of evidence quietly appeared. None of it proved anything. Yet none of it felt innocent anymore. The hardest part wasn't the uncertainty. It was pretending everything was normal while my heart quietly prepared for an answer it wasn't ready to hear. I wanted to believe love was stronger than doubt. I wanted to believe trust. Wow.
Certainty. The plan was almost ready. The evidence was complete. Now all that remained was choosing the perfect moment. Because sometimes justice isn't about acting quickly. Sometimes it's about waiting until the truth can no longer be ignored. And that moment was closer than anyone realized.